everybody, it's finally Friday, and I'm so glad that it is. This week, because it's my first full week back after vacation, has just been like, so much stuff. So, I'm very glad that it's Friday and I can sleep in tomorrow. I love to sleep in, that's like one of my favorite things. Okay, enough about me, now it's on to you. So since it's Friday, for any of you who are new, welcome. Welcome to our community. And the way that this works is that 4 days a week I have FAQ videos on different parts of the web, like Tuesday's Tumblr, Wednesday website, YouTube, Thursday Twitter, Facebook, Friday. It's kind of, you know, we use a little bit of, what is it called? Why can't I think of the word? Alliteration. When you use the first letter, and they're all the same, Facebook, Friday. So today I have 3 questions as well as a journal topic from Bethany. Thank you, Bethany, so much for that. And in the new year, I'm also, like I've talked about on my reflection video, I'm trying to think of new ways to make videos and to keep it interesting and not do the same old, because it kind of, you know, for me, it gets repetitive, and I know for many of you, you like it when I do things that are a little different. So if you have any ideas of things that you'd like to see, or if maybe we just do Monday videos and then I do one more video a week and we, you know, cram other things into it, or I don't know. Let me know what you think below. What would you like to see in 2015 as I start to kind of put together my plan for it? So anyway, first question, let's get going. Hi, Katie. I don't know if you reply to this message. Well, I am, but I've seen your videos on YouTube and I'm not sure if I'm experiencing transference. Now, transference, for many of you who don't know, pretty much anybody who's not in the therapy world may not know the definition. Transference is when we transfer onto our therapists a relationship that we have previously had or we're already having. We kind of recreate that in therapy, okay? So like if our therapist is a dude and our dad was a jerk and we had a really bad relationship, we'll try to kind of recreate that with our therapist. And she said, I don't know if I'm experiencing transference, but I feel attached to my psychiatrist and I feel like I'm starting to rely on him. I feel like I need more appointments with him. I really hate feeling this way. I don't know if I should mention it to him or not, but I want to get it. I want to get out of control or I don't want it to get out of control or turn into obsession. I found a picture of him online and now I keep looking at it. I know it might sound really strange. I don't find him attractive or anything like that. I just feel attached in some kind of a connection. Is this common to experience and should I tell him at our next appointment? Now I want to talk about this because I get a lot of questions around like, I need to see my therapist more. What do? I feel really attached to my therapist. And it's very normal. Oftentimes, if our therapist is helping us work through something that's been really difficult, maybe abuse, maybe a really hard emotional time that we're having, maybe it's a breakup, maybe it could be any number of things. It could be working on, you know, remothering us and helping us feel cared for. It could be any number of things that your therapist works with you every week or twice a week. And when we're that vulnerable with someone, it can make us, as the client, it can cause us to feel really reliant on them and very connected and like we need to see them more, and we can have all of these feelings, and that is very normal. It's all part of the process. And as you're feeling these things, I would encourage you to bring it up with your therapist so that they know what you're experiencing so that they can help you best. And then you can talk about it and it's out there and we can sort of change our patterns, right? Because oftentimes in our past relationships, we weren't as communicative or as open or vulnerable as we are with our therapist, and so we can create a healthier relationship by being honest and open. Now, it can be, and I would encourage any of you, I don't know if this is a scenario for them or for you, but I'm just throwing it out there. Sometimes those of us who struggle with borderline personality disorder really have a hard time with this, and we can feel really attached to our therapists, and it can be really hard for us to recognize the relationship boundaries, and we may feel sometimes off-put by the fact that we can't see them all the time, and there can be that kind of feeling too, and that's very normal. And I would also express that to your therapist and know that it may be one of the traits that's coming out, because we know in borderline we worry about people leaving us a lot, and so a therapist is a helpful person in our life and we don't want to lose them, and so we may fear so much that we're going to lose them that, you know, we struggle with that relationship. So it's very normal. I would definitely mention it, and I would also do some soul searching on your own where you think about what that person means to you and why do you feel so attached? Is it because you've been vulnerable and open? Is it because, you know, they're the only one that listens to you right now? I think it's important for all of us to understand our attachments to people and why we have them. It can help us have a little more, I don't know, be softer with ourselves, which I think is important for all of us. If we recognize why, then we can kind of be soft with ourselves and say, well, that makes sense. You know, I've been wanting that for a long time, whatever. And so that can really help. So I would do those things. So, but know that it's very normal. Okay, question number 2. Now this is a long question, so I just shortened it to the top. And she asks, why are unhealthy coping skills so contagious? I know this sounds like a stupid question. And then she goes and she says, but I have a point. She talks about how when we, like, why do we go back to them? Or why do we want, when we're in environments where everybody's using unhealthy coping skills, why do we want to try to use more or use the coping skills they're using? Or why do we want to use them over and over and over? Why are they contagious? Now, I want to talk about this kind of like a timeline. So the first thing being that when we struggle with something, we may not have been taught or been shown any healthy coping skills. That being talk about it, journal about it, talk to friends or family about it, do arts and crafts, go for a walk, play with the dog. Like, our parents in many ways are responsible for demonstrating healthy coping skills. Now, and this can be parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, pastors, preachers, whoever's in our life, teachers even, best friends. We can learn these through a lot of avenues, but mostly it's our primary caregiver. And if they're not showing us those, we often find ourselves using unhealthy ones that our brain figures out as a way for us to get through what we're going through. And these things are contagious. And I don't even think I'd use the word contagious, but I kind of like that. I never thought of it that way. But I always say we always go back to it. It's almost like a habit because, and I've talked about this before, but our brain is very adaptable. We are adaptable creatures. And our brain, think of it like a balloon filled with sand. And I've given this analogy before. If any of you, have been with me for a long time, you've heard this. But every time something happens to us, let's think of these as our two connectors, right? Something happens and this marble rolls in our little balloon of sand over to this other thing, which is what we do. So we feel stressed out, we drink alcohol. We feel stressed out, we drink alcohol. We keep doing it. And it could be we self-harm, we, stay at home and cry all night. It could be any number of things, any way that we cope unhealthfully. And this marble gets deeper and deeper into the sand. The sand on the sides is all built up and we've got this rut, right? And so it's really hard for us to get our marble out of that rut. And so that's why when we try new coping skills, we find our marble inching towards that comfortable rut. It's been running that rut for years. It knows what to expect from that rut. And so to get it out, we have to try a lot harder. We have to try 5 things when we used to only need 1. They won't feel as good as that one thing, but we try 5, we try 10 things, we try 20 things. And it can be really difficult. But the more we push it out, we're creating new healthy ruts that we want, and we want our marble to go into those. Now, I know that analogy is a little like, what? But it helps me understand because I'm a visual learner and I like to picture that. And it helps remind me why we keep trying to go back to these unhealthy coping skills when we know better. Because it's not just about us knowing better. We almost always know better unless we're a child. Once we're an adult and we've learned new things, we know there's better options out there, but we don't know how to get out of that rut. And that's why it helps to have the support of a therapist. It helps to try new things and it helps to do it over and over and over until we can get it out of there and start a whole new healthy rut. Okay? I hope that makes sense and helps. Okay, question number 3. Let's get going because I'm taking a long time. Hey, Katie, how do I stop being so attached to my best friend? A lot of attachment today. It seems like I'm the only one who truly loves and cares about the other in this friendship. Even though she says she loves me and cares about me too, I hate feeling like I'm the only one, or I'm the one who always loves more. Now, I hear this from lots of you, that it's really a difficult thing for you in relationships because you feel like you care more, you do more. You sometimes won't even say no to them, even if you're already busy. You'll make sure you're there for them. You'll go the extra mile. And while I understand that, and we all hope to be and to have such great friends like that, right? And it's great to have a friend you can always count on. But I would encourage you to assess a couple of things with me. The first being, if that friend is not there for you when you really need them, then you may be investing a lot more in the friendship than them, and you may want to scale back. You may want to consider, like, maybe I'm just too stressed out this week and I can't go see them. Normally I just say yes because I feel bad, but what about me? What's best for me? I would ask you to take time to consider that, to think about how you feel, because we can't be good in relationships and actually help people and give them what we want to give them if we're not giving that for ourselves, because long term we'll burn out and we get tired and we get cranky and it's just too much. So I would ask you to assess that, to think about that. Second thing, I would also be curious as to how many relationships this happens with in your life. Is this almost all of your friendships? Is this all of your romantic relationships? Or is this just this one person? Because those are two very different things. So if it's just this one person, I would just assess the relationship and I would speak to your friend about it. I would be honest. The more we communicate, the better. So I would say things like, I put a lot into this and I really love you and I really care about you, and sometimes I just don't feel like it's reciprocated. Is there anything we can do to help this out? Or I just want to talk to you about it, and do it in a non-attacking way so they feel like you can actually talk about it. And maybe they feel smothered. Maybe they didn't realize you felt that way. We don't know until we ask. So I would start talking about it. But the other thing, the second part that I want to consider is that sometimes if it's everybody, like I said, if that's just one person in our life, but if it's everybody in our life, then we really have to assess ourselves. We have to talk to our therapist about it. It may be, if I've had many of my patients who have borderline personality disorder feel this way a lot of the time, like they're putting in all the effort and then they get really mad and frustrated and kind of lash out, and we'll end the friendships. And so we try to work with them to understand how to communicate and how to talk about our emotions, realize our emotions, slow our response rate down so that we can talk about it, figure it out, and heal the friendship and actually make it stronger rather than just cutting it off. So I would consider those things, whether it's just the one person, then I'd really work on that, or if it's everybody, then we really need to work on ourselves. And I think that's something that honestly I have to be reminded of in my life, and I think all of us do. If something is happening to us in all of our relationships, if everybody's mad at us all the time, we have to consider our part in it, because what do they all have in common? Me, a relationship with me. But if it's just one person, then we really just need to communicate with that person. We need to discuss it and we can work it out. So I would just definitely talk to them, be honest, and I have no doubt that this friend will understand and you will, work through it. Okay? I hope that helps. If any of you have had this happen and you have words of wisdom, let us know below, okay? Now the journal topic, because this is getting really long, I'm sorry, says, possible journal topic. My favorite line in the movie Into the Woods is, quote, "Let the moment go. Don't forget it for a moment though. Just remembering that you had an and when you're back to or makes the or mean more than it did before." Ooh, it's so rhymey and cute. I like it. It reminds me to think about the good moments in my life when I'm having a hard time, and also it reminds me to move on. Now rewind this back and listen to it again. It's a really cool quote. Thank you so much, Bethany, for that. I love you all. Have a wonderful weekend. Sleep in, relax, and recharge, and I'll see you on Monday.